Chapter 7. The Disappearing Public. Drive through rural Saskatchewan, and you'll start to see it, not all at once, but piece by piece. A boarded-up credit union branch, a shuttered wheat pool elevator, a school with the playground removed, a hospital with temporary closures lasting years. It looks slow. It looks natural. It looks inevitable. It isn't. It's engineered. And the numbers prove it. A note on demographic reality. It is true that rural Saskatchewan faces massive structural headwinds. Urbanization is a global trend. Technology allows for more centralized service delivery. And a shrinking, aging population makes the per capita cost of a rural hospital wing higher than one in a city. But these are not natural laws. They are fiscal choices. When we decide that a per capita cost is the only metric that matters, we are deciding that rural citizenship is worth less than urban citizenship. The drift isn't that people are moving to cities. The drift is the policy decision to treat that movement as an excuse to withdraw the floor of the social contract. We didn't lose these services to progress. We traded them for efficiency. This book asks, who kept the efficiency and who lost the service? The credit union collapse. By the numbers. In 2000, Saskatchewan had over 280 rural credit union branches. By 2026, that number is expected to fall below 100. That's not consolidation. That's a 63% collapse of financial access in one generation. Every closure is more than an inconvenience. Seniors can't walk to the branch. Farmers deposit at gas stations for $3.50 per withdrawal. People with poor or no broadband can't bank digitally. Towns lose another anchor, another job, another reason to stay. This is the quiet privatization of access. The pattern of withdrawal. The sequence is consistent enough to constitute a structure. A public service is allowed to degrade, underfunded, understaffed, its problems attributed to workers or demographics or the natural complexity of delivery. Frustration builds among the people who depend on it. A private alternative is introduced and described as innovation, or choice, or necessary reform. The private option is normalized. The public version atrophies further, its remaining users seen as a burden rather than a constituency. No one rebuilds it. The language of crisis is eventually replaced by the language of inevitability, and the loss is reclassified as progress. Power and accountability. The cascade that follows every closure. When a rural branch closes, the signal it sends to every business on that main street is immediate. This community is less viable than it was yesterday. The farmer who previously deposited locally now drives 45 minutes or pays transaction fees at a gas station. The small business that relied on branch foot traffic loses it. Commercial leases that depended on the branch as an anchor tenant weaken. Property values in the surrounding blocks begin a slow decline that has nothing to do with the properties themselves. That decline compounds. A community where assessed values are falling generates less municipal tax revenue. Less revenue means deferred infrastructure. Deferred infrastructure makes the community less attractive to the young families and skilled workers who might otherwise have come or stayed. The school population falls. The school consolidates. The families with children who remained begin to leave. Doctors and nurses prefer not to raise children in communities without functioning schools. The clinic loses staff. The hospital reduces its hours. None of this was caused by a single decision. Each step had its own rationale, its own administrator, its own efficiency calculation presented in isolation. But the sequence runs in one direction, from the first closure to the last. And the communities that experience it do not recover. Not because recovery is impossible, but because private capital, once it has withdrawn, requires a level of public subsidy to return that no government has yet been willing to provide. Each loss makes the next loss more likely. The accounting that permitted each individual step never adds up the total. The cost of disappearance, human, not just numeric. When rural people lose public institutions, they lose access, money, time, connection, and dignity. You rent what you used to own. You subscribe to what used to be shared. You become a customer in a place you used to be a citizen. When the public disappears, trust collapses, resentment grows, local economies shrink, families leave, youth never return. Democracy weakens. Once these services disappear, they almost never come back, because private capital fills the vacuum and never returns it for free.